It's taken me 3 years to finally get to this point, and I just have so much gratitude for actually being here. And we're at the point now where I've actually had the opportunity and the tenacity and the dedication and the passion to pull together Travel Alchemy Masterclass. I first introduced this concept to you in February of 2019. Now, 2019 is way before the pandemic. So in 2020, we know the world completely changed. But back in 2019, I had this undeniable urge to speak to the collective about how transformative travel had been to me in my personal development story. I had lived in London for 1.5 years. I had traveled to a bunch of different countries, Stockholm, Paris, Mexico, just all of these countries, and Dubai. I just found that it awakened something in me that nothing else I had ever experienced till that date in my adulthood had done. And in all honesty, I had to fight to even begin my travel transformation journey because it was just so outside of the norm of what was in my regular life. All people did was study, go to school, and work for 40 years. And something deep within me told me that that was not for me. But I couldn't necessarily get there until I took my first leap in this, origin story of following exactly what my inner self had told me to do, which was travel and figure out a way to do that. And the way I was able to do that was through education. It's easy to sell it if you're saying, I'm going to go study, right? All of us know that. All of us who come from any kind of immigrant background or anybody really, you can sell the idea of going to travel if you're going to go study. And so that's what I did. And when I tell you, I walked through a door, I walked through a portal, I walked through a gateway that has fundamentally changed my life. And so much so that I had to figure out a way to codify that experience. I had to figure out a way to put that experience on paper, if you will, to be able to share with the collective. And that's what I've done here with Travel Alchemy Masterclass. If you have an undeniable urge to travel, something that you can't shake, but you're not mentally, physically, or emotionally there to make it happen for yourself, there's some sort of block there. If you find yourself to be the backbone of your community, the backbone of your family, everybody's self-care comes before your own, but now you're wanting to figure out a way to pivot it so that your self-care comes first, this course might be for you. You have a clear sense that travel would bring back the passion, the excitement to your life, because your life is kind of mundane. It's like work to home to work to family to children to all of this. But you feel like you're wanting something that's calling you. There's something calling you to bring back the vibrancy, the optimism, the excitement, the thrill, the enthusiasm to your life. It might very well be travel. Or you used to be super optimistic and ambitious about life, but now it's just kind of humdrum and just not what you expected it to be. You always had a grander vision for your life. You thought that there was something more out there. There is more to life. And I'm not going to say that travel is your end all be all, but if you're being called towards it, take a look at the website below, travelalchemymasterclass.com. See if it's for you. If it's for you, then fantastic. If it's for someone that you know, be sure to share it with them. And I want to leave you with the original origin story of Travel Alchemy that I recorded in February of 2019, because I think a really important part of this origin story is just how long ago the idea came to me before it was fully birthed into the world. And this announcement, this origin story video, is officially the birth of Travel Alchemy Masterclass. I want to assure you and make that clear. You can see the information in the description box below. But I want to show you where it started in 2019 and how I was speaking about it then and how it took that many years for it to be fully delivered into the world. I am extremely proud of where we are. I'm extremely proud of myself for staying with it over all these years, and extremely grateful that the information is being channeled through me and delivered to you. That pinch of curiosity or interest is always a little nudge from your intuition letting you know that it might very well be for you. I have to say that there is more to life. And if you have that sense and you're trying to figure out what it is, this can't be it. This can't be it. It's not. It's not. There's more. And the more questions you ask and the more seeking you do, the more answers you will get from your higher self, your guides, your angels, from the divine, from your God. I don't know how better to say that. So check out Travel Alchemy Masterclass in the description box below, and the rest of this origin story from 2019. And also stay tuned for the channel for our travel road trip videos, dropping one each day from now until the end of the week, sharing my most recent travels with you, and hoping that it inspires you to get back to the traveling that we have all been put on hold for the last 2.5, 3 years, but we're gonna get back into it in 2023. And I'm definitely here to help you kick open that door and to make travel a part of your life. The magic of activating travel in your life. I'm here to be your guide. So definitely, I appreciate y'all so much for riding with me all these years. And I know you will be pleased and served so well by what we've been able to pull together. So yeah, keep watching. Hey guys, it's Kells and I'm back with another video. I know you guys are wondering, where have I been? I promised you a live, and so I'm here to explain to you guys where I've been. Just a little history, there's a little background on my channel. As my longtime subbies know, living abroad in London all had to do with like dating. How's the dating in London? How's the dating? And so I started to do a lot of videos exploring, you know, dating as a Black woman in London and overseas in Europe and traveling. And, you know, my time in London really spurred my interest in travel. And it really was the reason why I started this YouTube channel in the first place. And so as I transitioned out of my life in London and transitioned back to the States, instead of going back down south where I'm from in Florida, in Miami, I decided to move to DC where I am now. And so I tried to transition my content from dating in Europe and traveling in Europe to dating in DC. And I did that for a bit, but I found that it got a little bit boring after a while. And so I kind of transitioned my content on the channel to be a little bit more speaking about what was happening in current events, Meghan Markle, leveling up, Serena Williams, and all of that. And then also I started the IT'S KELLS Collective, where I asked you guys to chime in, send me your dating drama, your dating tea. I'm sure you'll remember that. And I would talk about it here. You'd email it into me and I talk about it here on the channel. And so I did that for a bit as well. And that was fun. That was super fun, opening up an email box for you guys and really getting to connect with you guys through emails and everything like that, and hearing about your crazy dating stories and kind of giving you my opinion on what was happening. And then also, you know, having the community be able to chime in to help you guys with your dating issues as well. And I did that for a while, and that was super fun. But at the same time that I was doing all the IT'S KELLS Collective videos, I was also doing kind of some personal work on myself. And what I mean by that is that my time in London had led to this, for me personally, an exploration of femininity, and really trying to uncover why I felt so different in London than I did here in the States. And when I started to ask myself those questions, when I started to evaluate how I felt in London versus feeling here in the States, it led to this exploration of femininity. And so I was looking at videos and reading and just studying that. And as I got more into that, I really felt that overseas and living here, or even traveling, is the ability to be more feminine, to be more introspective, to be a bit softer, and to be received a bit better as a woman. I don't know how, when you travel, I find that like here in the States, the women are so go-getters, you know what I mean? Like people consider me a go-getter, so I'm not, it's not a criticism, but everyone is super always on the grind, always hustling, always trying to, get to the bag, get to the next thing. And it doesn't really allow for someone to be an introvert, somebody to be able to listen to their own inner guidance, for somebody to understand their own intuition, for people to not always be pushing their personality forward, but, in some senses, chilling out. I hope that makes sense, to be able to hear their own intuition. And I don't know if that makes sense, but that's where I was, that's kind of where I got to as it related to femininity. And so as I did my exploration of femininity, after coming back, it also led to kind of this deeper exploration of self and understanding kind of what my passions were, what I really, and, whenever I would ask myself that question, travel was always the response that I would get. And when I say the response that I would get, it's kind of like in those quiet moments when you're just kind of chilling out and maybe meditating or yourself or writing or anything where you're doing by yourself in a stillness of self. And when you ask yourself those questions, the response that you get or the feelings or the thoughts that come through, for me, that was travel. So, that kind of exercise of listening to myself, trusting myself is what I've been working on for the past, I think I've been gone for like 9 months, which is totally, it don't even feel like 9 months. I know you guys have been writing me and messaging me and being like, girl, where are you? I hope you're good. Of course I'm good. Thank you so much for your concern. Reconnecting with my femininity, I got the inspiration to work with a group of women on a community called the Travel Alchemist Collective. And the reason why I got inspired to do that was because travel has been powerfully transformative for me. Powerfully transformative. It has initially, I just asked myself, what did I really want to do? Because I found myself doing what others said I should do. And it wasn't really working out it wasn't really making me feel the best. And this was years ago. And so as I said, I asked myself, what do I really want to do? And travel came out. And when I started to travel, I was like, yo, this is dope. And that kind of spurred me to start asking myself a lot of questions about myself. And so, just more recently in the last 8 months, I was like, okay, I really want to continue the platform of travel. I really want to dive into that kind of concept a bit deeper. And so the reason why so that's why travel is what I'm going to be kind of pivoting my content towards more in the next phase of IT'S KELLS. And Alchemist, it's called Travel Alchemist Collective because alchemy scientifically, it's the way that you can turn luxury, metals like into something that is actually expensive like gold. So it's like a scientific way that people transform not things that are like not that valuable into something that's valuable. And that's the concept behind it in the scientific world. In the spiritual world, it's more of being able to transform yourself, transform your thinking, transform your environment, transform yourself, if I didn't say that, and being able to elevate yourself in the direction that you feel is closest to who you actually are. And that is called alchemy. There's a book by Pablo Coelho, I think it's called The Alchemist. A bunch of people read it. It's an old book. It's probably like 25 years old. But essentially it talks about your life path and how you're able to transform and certain principles that carry throughout everyone's life. And so I really like the concept of alchemy, being able to go from nothing to something, being able to transform. And so I said, all right, I'm going to name it Travel Alchemist and Collective. Of course, you guys, I love the concept of community. So collective, just like it's the IT'S KELLS Collective, I decided to name it a collective. And so the Travel Alchemist Collective is going to be a group, particularly for women, but I will work with men because I realize that like percent of my viewers on this channel are men, which I think it's good because I like for men to have an understanding of a woman's perspective. Now, I'm not going to say that my perspective is representative of a lot of women's perspective. It's definitely not. It's only representative of my perspective. But there are some women that my perspective resonates with. So if you guys are watching and you guys are like men and they're like, there's like 61 or 65% of you, how I'm going to build this community out to be at the forefront of travel alchemy. It's going to be a community for women, and essentially what I'm going to is I'm going to be doing group coaching sessions, and I'm going to be doing individual coaching sessions. And what we're going to be doing is building out a travel transformation plan. And what I mean by travel transformation plan is a plan of action for each individual woman to follow her deep desire to travel. So I know I get messages from you guys all the time, and there's a bunch of women who love the concept or the idea of, but they're having a lot of barriers to it, whether it be personal, financial, fear, not feeling like they're worthy enough to travel, not knowing where to start, or having started but not knowing how to continue, having lived there before. Or another big one that I noticed that that I ran into and that I had to overcome a lot personally was reverse culture shock. So after having lived overseas for a long while, having to come back, transition back into the US. And that is like a seriously hard thing to do, especially when your sense of self has changed so much based on living in a completely different country. So really my deepest desire, want for the group is for me to be able to share with the women everything I wish somebody would have told me or shared with me about how transformative and how powerful overcoming the barriers to travel are and making it a priority. And there are a lot of things that I did in terms of traveling that I just had to be extremely bold about and do because I was following my inner calling. And I want this group to be an encouraging space for women to do the same thing, because I want women to be able to understand themselves outside of the American perspective of themselves. Now,